Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob live from Peoria, Arizona. Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. A beautiful day out here at the Mariners Spring Training Complex. And what better way to start the show, Dave, than to bring in a guy, I think you like him. I think you may have commented of a time or 12. But
we told Logan that he's our favorite. Sorry, Cal.
Well, Cal Raleigh is sitting here with us. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Doing very well. It wouldn't be a complete trip if we didn't get a chance to talk to you. So I'm glad we're able to do this.
Glad to be here with you guys.
How's spring been for you so far? It feels like there's a strong sense of optimism, and I don't know if it's just because it's the beginning and it's new and everybody's glad to be around each other, but does it feel any different to you?
Yeah, everybody is excited to be here. We're a couple weeks in now, so kind of got that first wave of rust off and getting in games and kind of getting to that point in spring where, all right, it's go time to play a little more, a little longer, and really looking forward to the start of the year.
Do you get excited when this time of year? I remember every time I checked in, I would have high blood pressure because I was so excited.
It's the same. It's the same feeling. You get really excited. You feel like a kid again, and you get to see everybody. The anxiousness, the excitement, and that's all 30 clubs too. It's not just here, so it's a real thing, and everybody's excited. And then you hit your little waves throughout camp, and then you get close to the season and you get that feeling back again.
If there's one guy on this team whose blood pressure doesn't change, it's probably him, right? You're so mellow after the biggest moments in the history of this organization. You're like, yeah, this is pretty cool. But something Dan had talked about is trying to hit the ground running for the season, maybe getting more turns up at the plate for Julio and other guys. Are you a part of that as well? Would you like more opportunity in spring to kind of get into midseason form, I guess, earlier?
Yeah, I definitely made that a point of emphasis last year, trying to get a little more ready at the beginning of the year, just because I wanted to get off to a better start and kind of not put myself in a hole and not be trying to find it in season. So, spring training is really important, and I'm glad that Dan's putting a big emphasis on it and trying to get guys innings and at bats and in that kind of game shape, because there's really no way to simulate it any other way than just playing and being in the game and being out there and standing and making those throws and plays and just rep after rep. So practice is great and all, but you need the actual game feels.
We heard a little bit about every game counts, and like Dan Wilson will maybe explain that to us, because there's 162 games, but you don't want to go overboard trying to win a game, and use guys up or in the bullpen or whatever. But just that mentality, how Dan Wilson explained that to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I look at it in the sense of you want to. I mean, every game counts and every game matters, and you go out there every single time to win the game. And obviously, there's going to be days where you go out there and you get your butt kicked, and that's just baseball. That's how it is. But every game is just as important as the next, and we need to be thinking of it as a sprint and not a marathon. That's the way you look at it, and you just keep your head down. You keep your head down, and then you don't look up. And at the end of the year, you just give everything you got, because guess what? Everybody else is going to be tired of the year. It's not going to be just us. Teams are going to be hurting. Teams are going to be in the dog days of August, the late summer, and so it's not a new thing. To me, it's keeping your head down, not looking up, and just keep going and give everything you got, whether it's 100 or 60% that day. You give what you have, and it's kind of the mentality I think he's looking for, and giving everything you got that single day.
Is it hard to avoid a day in August when it's 100 degrees out and you're going, oh my gosh, I don't have it today, or we don't have it? We still got 65 games left. Is it hard not to have that mentality?
It's hard because it's 162 games. But I would say it's like I just said, giving everything you got that day. And, I might be going on 6 or 7 days consecutive, and I might not have everything in my legs, but I'm going to give everything I can behind the plate, and I'm going to maybe choke up a little bit and figure out, hey, I need to draw a walk today, or I just need to try to hit my single today and not try to, I don't need to hit a home run today because I don't got that today. So understanding your game, but understanding there's still ways to win the game without, feeling fresh and 100%, because nobody's going to be feeling that way at all times, and especially that time of year. You're going to be giving what you got, and it's not new, and it's not like it's just going to be our team. Everybody else is going to be struggling with that as well, and it's just kind of that's also learning how to be a true pro and trying to figure out what your body needs and what you need to do in that kind of moment in those times of seasons.
Hey, Cal, I could always tell, I felt like what franchises are investing in, like, winning. Like, just by, the amount of money that they spend. And, we came walking in here today. It's totally different here. Like, as far as all the equipment, and we looked in that little lounge. We were actually hoping you could take us on a tour in there or something. But
Yeah, I'll get you guys in there.
yeah, but I mean, you've got the traject machine, and then, you got a little area where everybody can sit around and talk baseball and swing and things like that. It's different this year, isn't it?
Yeah, they've done a great job here investing in the the bullpen, the batting cage, and everything that kind of the nooks and crannies there. So they did a really good job. It really looks good out here. They cleaned it up. It was much needed. So really credit Jack Mosterman. He's done a great job over the past few years of revamping the locker room, batting cages up in Seattle as well. Training room is getting done as we speak. Weight room has been done. It really have revamped it ever since I got called up, and really put some nice touches on it to make it feel modern, new, kind of more homey and something, guys like being in, and, obviously translated down here to Arizona as well.
Do you feel like this is a better team than last year?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we were in a good spot as well. Have hit some lows, obviously, but I feel really confident with this team that we have here today, where we stand. And, I think guys are going to be very hungry, excited to kind of get out and, kind of go prove themselves again.
Is that kind of a product of it was a down year offensively for the team, yet you missed the playoffs by one game. So is that the knowledge, like, man, if we bump it up just a tick, we're having a completely different conversation. This is a playoff team.
Yeah, I think you can look at it in two ways, team-wise and individual-wise. Guys definitely want to come back out and prove it that way. And, yeah, we understand we missed it by a game, but, at the end of the day, nobody cares whether it was one game or 20 games. You miss it, and there's no excuses. So we understand that, and we understand how close we've come, but we also understand we have to change a few things, and we have to win that one extra game. We have to do the little things right. I think Dan talks about that a lot. Doing the little things, they matter, especially over a long season. And, it could be one little thing that changes the course of our season and can really change the outlook and, how things are going to be perceived at the end of the year.
Anything particular that you worked on in the offseason, Cal? Something that you thought maybe you needed to put extra time into, or are you doing pretty much the same routine that you've always done?
I'm pretty much doing the same thing I've always done, really always trying to find ways to improve and, both on both sides of the ball, catching and hitting. So really just trying to improve, obviously being a leader in this clubhouse, trying to help out as much as I can, finding ways in doing that. From the hitting side, you're always tweaking a little bit here and there off season. All right, maybe I could do this a little better. Maybe try to get into a better hitting position a little earlier. That way, timing's not going to be as much of an issue. So, really working on that right now, trying to get the timing there, and really trying to take that out of the equation.
What's the postseason attention been like for you? You seem like you're so humble and mellow. You win the Gold Glove. You win the Platinum Glove. You're the Seattle Sports Star of the Year. There's a lot of focus on, hey, Cal's great. You're great. You're a great player. And a lot of people talking to you about that. Is that uncomfortable for you to talk about that stuff? How do you receive all that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's nice. It's obviously very blessed and humbled to receive those awards and all the kind of accolades and recognition. But, at the same time, it's finding the right kind of middle ground and turning the page, understanding that was last year. And, after a while, you're like, all right, time to move on. Like, time to, we got bigger fish to fry this year, and you got to come back and repeat it and do it again because, once the first game starts, you're only as good as your last game or last at bat or whatever it is. So understanding that, and, it's understanding that, every single day rents due in a way. So I think when you put it into that perspective and understand that, every single day I have to show up, I have a job to do, and, I want to repeat what I did last year. I want to keep building on that. I want to keep continuing to get better, and I think that's kind of what drives me. So
We always talk about these, characters like Lefko. We talk about what if he got really fat Lefko.
he doesn't have that body type.
No, I don't
Fluffco.
think so. But what about a cocky Cal? Cal just all of a sudden turns into a super cocky guy. I don't
It'll be
think that
weird.
could possibly happen.
I don't know. I mean,
It'd be
if you ask
weird.
my siblings, they might tell you differently.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they like to give me a hard time all the time.
I was just telling Bob all these stories about my brother played football with me and that he used to just beat the crap out of me. He's an older guy. What
Probably
about
made you into who you are today.
exactly? That's what he was trying to do. He's a nice guy. He was toughening me up. But tell us about your siblings and your relationship with them.
Yeah, obviously they're all back east. I have 2 sisters and one brother. They're all younger, so I'm the oldest. My little brother, he is now taller than me. He's 14 years old, a freshman in high school. He's got all the gear in the world you can imagine with baseball. He's a switch hitting catcher. So,
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he just started his high school season, so I'm really excited for him, and I look forward to kind of continuing to see his baseball career take off. And my sisters were volleyball players. One's playing right now. One is now in dental school. So, we're all in different kind of chapters of our lives, and, they're all back east. So it's a little harder. I don't get to see them as much anymore, but, I do miss them, and I'm very proud of, kind of what they've become. So.
Do you send your little brother like equipment and stuff like that?
I mean,
He's
he literally
gotta
has
love
more
that.
equipment than any 14-year-old in the country. He has so many unnecessary things between batting gloves, and he wears all my sizes now because he's just as he's taller. He's not as thick as me yet, but he's got all the batting gloves, the swag, the catcher's gear. He wears and anytime he gets a chance, he'll come on. I'll bring him to the field, and he'll raid my locker, and we'll go out and play catch or hit a BP on the field, and I try to get him out there. But yeah, he's got way too much equipment, that's for sure.
What's his name?
T, it's short for Todd. My
Okay.
dad is Todd, so he's Todd Jr.
Okay.
But we just call him T because we didn't want to be any confusion. So
Okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. I just can't picture cocky Cal though. It just doesn't seem to
No,
work.
That wouldn't work.
He loves a story about when you hit the clincher to send this team to the postseason and the celebration in the clubhouse. I went up to you. You probably don't remember.
Yeah, no, I remember.
Just going, dude. You just created a memory that people are going to talk about for decades. This is going to be part of Mariner lore, and you just went, yeah, it's pretty cool.
I know.
Just so unaffected.
I didn't even realize it at the time. Honestly, I didn't. I had no idea what had just happened. Really, I was just so happy in the moment. I didn't really comprehend what was going on. And yeah, now looking back, I'm pretty sure years from now I'll even look back even more on it. So
It's a great moment for me. It was I just cracked up at that. But hey, last year your power from the right side was bigger than the left side, and that was a surprise for a lot of people. Was that something you went into last season focusing on? Is power from the right, or it just happened?
No, last year I made an emphasis, because the first couple of years I was a little behind on the right side, and I was like, I need to get better. I need to become a threat from both sides of the plate because guys were turning me around, bringing in the lefty, which they'll still do. And that is what it is. But I needed to learn how to, become more of a complete hitter on that side, and how I understand maybe how it translates to my right side. And I think it was the first off season that I had really tried to differentiate.
Yeah.
It's a mouthful, but I try to take them and let them be separate and not try to do the same things on both sides. And I found a lot of success doing that and treating them differently and understanding they're 2 different swings.
Who do you see the biggest change in as far as any pitcher, but particularly the rotation? It seemed like listening to Bryce Miller, he all of a sudden sounds like a pro. He just sounds
I don't
different.
know about that.
The other guys were giving, like Logan was giving him a hard time. He says, yeah, he has like 14 pitches apparently or something like that. But who has made a big jump that you've noticed?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Bryce has done a great job, really kind of coming into his own, understanding what he needs to do. Really took a step forward last year, getting a full season, becoming a guy you can rely on, getting deep in games, and, constantly understanding, he's doing his work, he's doing what he needs to do, his prep and things like that. I'm looking to see Bryan Woo kind of take a step forward this year. trying to get a full season under his belt, trying to stay healthy, understand, kind of, it's not, you're not going to feel great every single day, every single time you go out there, but, giving what you have that day, like I was saying earlier, and understanding, that's how the season goes. You're going to have 30-something starts, 10 of them you're going to feel amazing, 10 you're going to feel okay, and there's probably going to be 10 where you feel like crap. And, what are you going to do with those okay days or those crap days? And that's kind of, how you see the great ones kind of separate themselves.
We were talking to Woo earlier, and we brought up the comment that you threw out there about easy cheese, and he kind of looked like he wasn't sure if that was a compliment at first, and then obviously it was.
Yeah.
But what in watching his mechanics, I was comparing him to Mariano Rivera. Not that they're similar, only in that it looks effortless.
Yeah.
The velocity looks. Some guys you can tell Logan when he's firing it up there, you can see he's putting that effort into it. With Woo, it really is such a smooth. It seems to just pop out of his hand. Is that something as a catcher that's different for you to catch versus Logan or anybody else who looks like they're really putting everything into it?
Yeah, and I think it's just a style of throwing too. Logan and Bryce are a little more over the top and a little more north-south, where Bryan, he glides down the mound really well. He's good mechanics. He is, I think he was a position player early on in his career, for most of his career. So, he moves really well. His body moves well the correct way. Good mechanics, and he just kind of glides down the mound. Kind of creates trying to think of the word, it's kind of like, it's hard to pick up,
Yeah.
It's hard for guys to
kind of
see
deceptive.
that. Yeah, deceptive. Like, it's very deceptive with his motion, and I comped him to guys like, you see like Wheeler and DeGrom, guys who just really do a good job getting down the mound, with their body movement, and he's similar in that way with how he kind of moves.
Cal, we talked to you earlier, so if we ask the same questions, I'm trying to remember. You traveled during the off season, and were you the one that said you hadn't left or you finally left the country?
Yeah, first time.
To Cabo. But tell us about when you travel. Do you go visit your teammates or anything like that, or are you just going out and going places that you always wanted to go?
Yeah, I mean, most of my travel revolves around family and stuff like that. So, went back east a few times this off season. Got to go to the Gold Glove event up in New York, Vermont. Saw family there. Had a nice little movie premiere about my uncle up there, so went and did that. Saw my little brother. He's playing basketball. Try to see the family during the holidays, and I did get to go on a little vacation this year in Mexico, though. It was kind of cool.
What's the movie?
It's called The Home of Raleigh.
This is it's based on your uncle?
It's based on my uncle, and so kind of short story. My uncle, who he set a bunch of records up in Vermont and became this unbelievable pitcher. Got recruited to go play college in Florida, like UCF. Just things that don't really happen in a small place like Vermont, and he unfortunately passed away at 19 from cancer. And basically, a story about how my dad and his brother, another one, they kind of learned from him and went on and carried the kind of the tradition of him, and he left a lasting impression on a lot of people. So he's impacted a lot of lives, and it was a cool movie to see, and did a cool documentary. The guy who actually did it lives in Seattle now.
Okay.
And he premiered it in Seattle as well, so I got to go see him there, and he interviewed me for it, and he was number 29, which is why I'm number 29 now. So it's kind of a cool little story, and
that's awesome.
It was really good. My family was very happy, and it's a cool memory.
We'll have to check that out.
Is it going to be on Netflix, or do you know where it's going to?
I think it's streaming. I can't remember what platform. Maybe Apple. Maybe I'll find out. Let you guys know.
Let us know. We'll put it out there. I'm sure the fans
it'd be great.
would love to see
it. They'd love it. So it's a cool little hometown kind of story.
What's your favorite sports movie? Speaking of that.
And there's a lot.
Do you ever look at baseball? Like, some of the football movies, I think, are so, like, Any Given Sunday was so bad. It just didn't represent it. But do you have a
baseball or just sports movie in general?
Sports movie in general.
I mean, Miracle's great.
Yeah.
I love Bull Durham. I think it's so good. I think it's
accurate.
It's the perfect
It's brilliant.
kind of like it's not like all the way, but it's not fully fake like in the way. So
Yeah,
I think it's a good
gotcha.
representation. It's kind of the goofiness of the minor leagues and how silly it can be, and it's just good baseball.
Love that movie.
There's a lot of good. I love For the Love of the Game.
yeah.
You
The
ever-
Kevin Costner movies are great, honestly.
Yeah, that's right. He fancies himself a baseball guy.
Yeah.
Ever see Slapshot?
I don't think I've ever
Hockey
seen Slapshot.
movie. It's from the 70s. You got to see Slapshot.
10 Cups, another good one, Kevin Costner.
That's right. That's true.
Yeah, Field of Dreams.
Yeah, Field of Dreams is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you got to find the right. Baseball's hard because like you can tell. It's probably the same with football. Like you can tell right away guys who played or guys who didn't. Like that's a fake throw. It's like I don't.
Yeah,
Like that doesn't look anything like what a real action shot looks like.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
Yeah. Did you see the original Bad News Bears?
I have. Yeah, that one.
That's classic.
Yeah, that's a good one. The new one with Billy Bob Thornton was pretty good too.
Did you like that one?
You didn't like it?
Not so much. I love the originals. Classic.
Yeah, I mean usually the original's always better in every kind of sense. So usually.
Well, Cal, it's a perfect way to start the day, man. Is talking to you, and we always appreciate you cutting out time for us. We love you. Thank you so much, man, and we wish you the best.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me on.
How cool was that, what you just saw, right? Great stuff. If you want more of that, you continue right here. We're going to have all kinds of stuff happening from Peoria live, and you'll find it right here on YouTube. And where else can they find it?
They can download the Seattle Sports app. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
That's very true, what you said there.